Hey guys, it's Thomas here, and in this video I want to talk about a big new feature coming to Notion, which is native Notion charts. And I'll talk about a few things in this video. First of all, why native Notion charts is a big deal. Secondly, what's the business model? And thirdly, I will also, of course, show you how implementation of Notion charts looks like directly in Notion, what it can do, what are the options, and what are all the things that you can play around to customize your charts directly in Notion. So first of all, let's talk about why native Notion charts are a big deal. Well, you've been able to visualize data directly in Notion using third-party apps so far, but the process of doing this was pretty cumbersome and complicated. So you had to use the third-party application, you had to connect the Notion database to this third-party app, etc. So a pretty complex process. With native Notion charts, you will be able to do this directly in Notion in one click. And if you think about any spreadsheet software like Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel, charts and data visualization is a really integral part of these apps. So being able to show data in a visual way is really important. And finally, this feature is coming to Notion as well, and being able to visualize data from Notion databases directly in the environment, I think is a pretty big deal and quite a big game changer. Secondly, on the business model, I think the most important thing to know here is that users on free plans, so if you're not paying for Notion, will only be able to use one chart per workspace. So this is quite limiting. So I would recommend you guys to if you want to take full control and take full advantage of Notion charts, to consider going upgrading to one of the paid plans of Notion. And with that being said, let me now go through to the walkthrough and show you how Notion has implemented native Notion charts and what you can do with them directly in Notion. Okay, so moving on to the chart showcase itself. So let's start with a simple Notion database. As you can see here, for this example, I'm using a invoices database, which features your basic parameters like invoice ID, status of the invoice, sum, date issued, etc. So let's create a chart view for this data. And creating charts in Notion is super simple. So it's basically a new type of view. So similarly, as you would add, let's say, like a board view or timeline view, you will now have the option to add a chart view. So let's go ahead and click this. And what will come up is this panel, which has everything that you need to kind of customize your parameters and visuals of your charts. And Notion will come with four types of charts: so vertical bar, horizontal bar, line chart, and donut or pie chart. And what's really great about this like initial or basic customization of the charts is that you can decide what you want to show on X and Y axis, of course. And so what you can do is that you can select any parameter from your database to be shown on the X and Y axis, and in that way you can create really like any kind of view that you desire. So let's go ahead and let's do a few simple views. So let's say, for example, that I want to show the billing or invoicing by customer. So on x-axis, I will do customer, and on y-axis, I want to show the sum, uh, and that's it. So this is how the chart will look like, and this will give me a breakdown of my invoicing per customer. So let's go ahead and let me show you another simple example. So let's say I want to visualize invoicing by not by customer but by month in time. And so a line chart for something like this would be great. So on x-axis, I will do date issued. And as you can see, some of the parameters will come with a few options, and the date property is one of them. So I can go ahead and do relative, breakdown, day, week, or month. And as I said, I want to do month. And on y-axis, I want to show not the count of invoices, but I want to show the sum of invoices. So let's do this. And voila, this is how my invoicing in time will look like. The last example is the donut chart, which of course features just one parameter, which will show up on the donut. So let's go ahead and let's again do let's do yeah, for example, the date issued, which is a breakdown of my invoices by month, of course. And as you can see, there are like a really neat visualization of the sums, the percentages, and also the total sum in the middle of the pie, in the middle of the pie chart. So like really well done implementation of the different charts. So these are the basics of generating charts in Notion. And let's go ahead and let's deep dive into a few more options that you have for customizing Notion charts. Okay, now digging a little bit deeper into what you can do with charts and how to play around and customize them. So let's start with a very simple view on my invoicing database. So here you can see that I have a simple chart which shows the amount invoiced by status of the invoice. So future revenue, invoice issued, payments received, overdue, etc. So what I can do with this chart to make it look better, nicer, or create like more interesting views is that first of all, you can very simply toggle to omit zero values. So this will simply remove as it's self-explanatory, but it will remove the zero values. So here we go. And then what is really needed, you can also group the values on the y-axis by different parameters. So let's say I want to group this amount issued by the customer. So I will just simply do this. And now this chart will not only show me the lump sum of 11K of invoices issued, but it will show me the breakdown of the attribution to the different customers, which is really great, really simple to set up, and you can in this way create like very interesting views on your data. And then moving on, there's a bunch of things that you can do to improve or to adjust the visuals of your charts as you please. So there's of course coloring. So you can choose different color schemes. So let's say let's do a more subtle green one, and then there's a bunch of style options. Like you can turn on and off your data labels. You can turn on and off your legend. You can add y-axis and x-axis labels, etc., etc. You can of course also adjust the size of the charts, but everything is done like very neatly, as you can see. And so you can go ahead and create like really, I think, well looking charts. Maybe the last thing that I wanted to mention is that you can also save the chart here, and it will generate like a really also like a well-looking PNG file, which you can then share as you please. So those are the basics of how you can set up and work with charts in Notion. Maybe the last thing that I wanted to show you is how a full implementation of Notion charts can look like. So again, using this simple database of the invoices or of revenues for a small business, this is how I would set up the dashboard with charts. So these are all the views that I have shown you before in the video, just sitting next to each other, and they give me like a great kind of visual clue of how my small business on the revenue side is doing. So being able to see the invoicing by broken down by customer, by status of the invoice, and by month. And I think this is like a really nice leap forward when it comes to being able to create visual dashboards in Notion for any kind of use case. So all in all, I think Notion charts are a really neat tool, like really well implemented by Notion. And I hope you manage to use them to your favor. So thank you very much for checking out this quick intro to Notion charts. I hope you have a great day and see you in the next one.